Imagine the skies over Europe in 1944, a vast blue ocean that became the stage for the greatest industrial and technological conflict in human history. Between the clouds and the dense contrails of the flying fortresses, a silver silhouette cut through the air with an elegance that masked a deadly fury. This aircraft, recognized today as one of the most passionate subjects for any aviation enthusiast, was not just a fighter. It was a Cadillac of the skies. With a range and speed that defied the logic of the era, it helped turn the tide of the war in Europe, protecting countless bomber crews and establishing new standards for military aviation that would last for decades. This is the story of the P-51 Mustang, a machine that carries the DNA of American audacity and the roots of British necessity. Although it is the ultimate symbol of United States air power, the Mustang was born from a British commission on North American soil in 1938, at a time when England was desperately seeking new weapons to face the growing shadow of Nazi Germany. During that period, the world did not yet fully grasp the scale of the destruction to come, but the need to arm was urgent. The most likely candidate for the British choice was the Curtiss P-40 Warhawk, an all-metal single-engine fighter that represented the evolution of the P-36 Hawk. The P-40 was a formidable machine by 1940 standards, built to be as tough as a tank, with 5 wing spars and a semi-modular design that was every field mechanic's dream, allowing for the rapid replacement of entire sections of the aircraft. Its ability to absorb damage was so legendary that there were records of mid-air collisions where the P-40 pilot managed to return to base, while his enemies were literally split in half. However, the P-40 had an Achilles heel: its Allison V 1710 engine. While it was a reliable engine, it featured a single-stage supercharger, which severely limited its performance at high altitudes, turning it into easy prey for German interceptors in the thin air of Central Europe. It was against this backdrop of technical limitations and the urgency of war that Sir Henry Self, head of the British Commission, approached North American aviation to produce the P-40 under license. It was a desperate offer, but North American President Dutch Kindelberger saw an opportunity where others saw only bureaucratic labor. Instead of agreeing to produce another company's design, he proposed something many considered madness: to design and build an entirely new airplane, superior to the P-40, using the same Allison engine, and have the prototype ready in just 120 days. Kindelberger knew his design team was capable of something extraordinary. He drew inspiration from visits he made to Germany and England in 1938, observing European aerodynamic trends. To ensure success, North American purchased aerodynamic test data for the Curtiss XP-46, an evolution of the P-40 that incorporated technologies like self-sealing tanks and heavy armament, but had been canceled to prioritize mass production of existing models. With the data in hand and the clock ticking, the NA-73X project was born. The new plane was built entirely of metal, adopting the famous Razorback fuselage and introducing innovations that would change aeronautics forever. The most notable was a laminar flow wing, where the design allowed air layers to move in approximately the same direction and speed across the surface, drastically reducing drag. Additionally, the cooling system was positioned at the rear of the fuselage, using the air passing through the radiator to generate a thermal propulsion effect, compensating for the drag of the system itself. With impressive determination, the prototype was finished in September 1940. Although some sources suggest it took 102 days, problems with the engine, and even borrowing tires from an '6 Texan meant the final completion time was about 117 days. In flight tests, the NA-73X reached 614 kilometers per hour, surpassing the P-40 by 40 kilometers per hour and demonstrating an incredible range that could reach 2,200 kilometers with external tanks. The British government, impressed with results that even surpassed the legendary Spitfire Mark V, initially ordered 320 units, naming the aircraft the Mustang Mark I. The Mustang's interior was considered comfortable for shorter pilots, but the design's focus on saving material and simplifying construction meant the canopy was narrow. However, the visibility and agility were strengths that RAF pilots grew to love. Yet, The operational ceiling was still limited to 4,500 meters due to the Allison engine. This limitation forced the Mustang to act in low-level photo reconnaissance and air defense missions, where it proved unbeatable. But the British knew the Mustang had potential for much more. They suggested installing the Rolls-Royce Merlin 61 engine, the same one that powered the Spitfire Mark IX. While the Allison engine lost power rapidly after 3,600 meters, the Merlin, with its two-stage compressor, allowed the Mustang to reach 710 kilometers per hour at over 8,000 meters in height. The transformation was radical, with the Merlin engine, now manufactured under license by Packard in the U.S., the Mustang became the definitive escort fighter. Meanwhile, the Americans were watching closely. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States entered the conflict realizing their fighters were falling behind. Colonel Oliver Eccles negotiated the delivery of Mustang units for internal evaluation, almost at the same time as the British. The Americans tested the prototype with the Packard V1650 engine, renaming it the XP-51B. The purchasing process was marked by investigations by the Truman Committee to prevent corruption, but the performance was undeniable. The Mustang was refined with feedback from frontline pilots, leading to the creation of the P-51D, the most iconic variant, featuring the removal of the razorback for the installation of a bubble canopy, offering 360-degree visibility, and the new K-14A gun sight that dominated the instrument panel. The P-51's immortality was cemented in the bomber escort mission. At the start of the combined offensive, American B-17s suffered unacceptable losses of up to 26% on deep missions over Germany. P-47 and P-38 fighters did not have enough fuel to accompany the entire mission, leaving the bombers vulnerable. The Mustang, with its superior range and external tanks, could go to the heart of the Third Reich and back, under the command of Major General James Doolittle. Mustang pilots were released to hunt the Luftwaffe aggressively. Big Week, in February 1944, was a turning point, where hundreds of German fighters were shot down, clearing the skies for the invasion of Normandy. Legendary groups like the Debden Eagles and the famous Red Tails, the 332nd Fighter Group, composed entirely of African-American pilots, proved the Mustang's excellence. The Red Tails, despite the systemic discrimination and humiliation they faced during training, became one of the most respected units, protecting bombers with such effectiveness that they were requested by white crews for their most dangerous missions. The Mustang's legacy extended beyond Europe. In the Pacific, it escorted B-29 superfortresses on devastating missions over Japan, departing from Iwo Jima. Not even the German Mi-262 jets or the Comet rocket planes could stop the Mustang's momentum, as it used ambush tactics during the enemy's takeoff and landing when they were most vulnerable. After World War II, the Mustang continued to serve in the Korean War, where its range was essential for ground attack missions from bases in Japan, although its vulnerability to anti-aircraft fire caused significant losses. It served in more than 20 countries, being the last piston-engine fighter to participate in an actual air-to-air combat in history during the football war between Honduras and El Salvador in 1969. As we look back at aviation history, the P-51 Mustang remains an indisputable legend. Unlike other machines that have had their reputations inflated by time, the Mustang's relevance in the Allied victory is a solid historical fact. It was the instrument that allowed for the systematic bombardment of the Nazi war industry, the shield that brought thousands of young crew members home, and a tool that broke social prejudices through the bravery of the Red Tails. The Cadillac of the skies, with its beautiful lines and its Merlin engine roaring at thousands of feet, continues to provoke passion 8 decades later, solidifying its status as the aircraft that did not just win duels but guaranteed the future of freedom in the modern world.